no stupid places. That's not what I want. Okay, people. So today we're going to look at this one. So stress causes every problem. It causes your worries and all that, right? So Nucalm erases all that. And I mean erases. I don't mean pretends to. I mean it does. It's FDA approved. It's got 2 patents, 33 years of research, math, science from the most brilliant minds in the world. And it works because I use it. So there's one in rescue where you put it on, instantly, instant peace. That's it. You put it on, and then before you know it, it's ended. You're waking up, and you don't remember anything. Your mind is clear. There's just nothing, no stress, nothing. And then there's a lot of other ones that they relieve your stress and that they don't go that severely, um, but you go to sleep, you put it on, and then you wake up the next day and everything's good and fine and you're ready for it. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this one. I haven't seen it, I don't know what it is, but it's from Nucalm, so it's got to be good. Okay.
In 2014, we began really important work and very rewarding work with a profile of humanity suffering from stage 4 cancer. We did this work under the guidance of Dr. Michael Gallitzer and Dr. Janet Ranicky at the Comprehensive Cancer Wellness Program at Hippocrates Health Institute in Florida. Quickly, we realized that of all the profiles of stress on Earth, probably stage 4 metastatic cancer is the biggest challenge. And one of the ironies about being diagnosed with a terminal illness is it elicits this fear response that we can't let up on. So the irony is when my body, if I have cancer, needs sleep more than it ever has because sleep is where I restore, repair, and give my body the resilience and immune strength to fight this disease. I don't get it. We found that this stress response didn't allow a human being to even have a second of peace of mind. They never stop worrying. They are accelerating the end of their life simply because they are stressed and scared, and it's not fair. So Nucalm to the rescue. Nucalm isn't curing people of cancer. Nucalm is balancing your autonomic nervous system. It's pulling the plug on the stress response, and it's allowing you peace of mind. It's allowing you calm. It's allowing you to feel good for 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes a day. But more importantly, it's giving you the quality of sleep that you need and your body needs to build your resilience, to get out of that chronic state of fear and stress, get to a place of patience, presence, and health and immune strength, and it puts you in a place where you get to fight for your life. It is the most rewarding work we've ever done, and it is a really powerful tool to take care of you when you need it most.
Sorry, I thought that was going to be a whole thing on how Nucalm helped this person recover from cancer, but it wasn't. It was just him saying that the body knows how to heal. So Nucalm takes away the stress and all the crap, and then you can heal. Okay, so
knows that. So for me, that disconnect.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all around the world, today I have the privilege of welcoming a visionary leader in the world of neuroscience, technology, and human performance. He is the co-founder and chief business officer of Nucalm and the world's only patented neuroscience technology clinically proven to lower stress, improve speed and sleep in life in general, and enhance recovery without drugs, without side effects, and without compromise. With decades of experience in building companies, scaling partnerships, and shaping market adoption, he has been instrumental in guiding Nucalm from concept to a global movement that is redefining wellness for athletes, professionals, medical practitioners, and everyday people. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to David Poole, a trailblazer at the intersection of science, technology, and business development, and someone who is helping the world rethink what it means to truly rest, recover, and live at our best. And for me personally, one of the best human beings, I'll be honest with you, to have some of the most fun conversations with when we are having our working sessions, and I cannot wait to hang out with in person along with my family. So ladies and gentlemen, don't touch that phone if you're driving, but if you're not, put a whole lot of love in that comment section and engage with this conversation. Mr. Poole, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to finally get this on a record exclusive interview. How's it going today?
Excellent. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you. I appreciate the energized intro, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Right on, right on. Let's get right into it, shall we? So, as the co-founder, as the CBO, how do you describe Nucalm from your own lens to someone hearing about it for the very first time?
That's a great question. And it's funny. Everybody's different. Every circumstance is different. We're all different at different times of the day, even. So I'm very keen on listening and understanding and reading your body language, your word choices. If you're someone who's really stressed at the moment, I literally say, hey, I've got something that will literally help you out right now, right here. Let's get after it. If you're someone who's trying to help over the phone, or someone I'm trying to help in person, I explained the consequence of ignoring chronic stress and acting like it's a good thing. And I get more done when I'm stressed. I'm more active when I'm stressed. The bottom line is stress is going to kill each and every one of us. It's part of the whole entropy function, and it's really important for self-preservation and survival. That's its critical function, cortisol production. But at the end of the day, we're not living in a society today where our lives are in danger all the time. So it triggers the exact same response. It's a very unhealthy, chronic problem. And what I would say to someone who's, living the best life they can, they think they've got the coping skills, everything's checked off, that they're doing okay. I would say, listen, you want to live with energy, you want to live inspired, you want to live with purpose, you want to sleep well, you want to take care of your stress management piece. One of the things I used to say in my lectures is, walk me through, show of hands, walk me through your stress management program. No hands came up. No one knows what I'm talking about. How do we manage stress today? Alcohol. Hey, have a drink at the end of the day. Some people use recreational marijuana or medical grade marijuana. Some people use pharmaceuticals. Some people do Tai Chi and yoga and meditation. You know how I handle stress for the better part of my life? Was motorcycles and hockey. Those are my Zen moments. Those are the places where it's personal, it's private, and literally my head just empties. As soon as I lace up and get on the ice, I don't care about work. I don't care about my kids. I don't care about my wife. I don't care about my problems. I don't care about the economy. Nothing.
I just care about, hey, am I in the right place to get the puck and can I put it in the net? On motorcycles, if you're a motorcycle rider, you can't think about anything else. It's literally
You have to
forced to
focus.
empty
Yeah.
your head.
Yeah.
It's a very zen moment. With Nucalm, it literally connects you with your subconscious. And this wasn't by design. And it's not by accident. It's by physics and math, but it's a really personal, private place. I know I've been talking all over the place because I get excited about this, and I'm not giving you an elevator pitch, but I'll tell you how Nucalm has changed my life. And this is usually a good way to get people thinking about it. I was never a napper. I never appreciated or respected nappers. I was like, what the heck are you doing? Who's got time for a nap? There's not enough hours in the day to do all the things I want to do that I've already said I'm going to do, and I'm going to do. And when I first started using Nucalm, it was really hard for me to say, hey, I need to take that 20 minutes because I'm always having calls. I'm always late for calls. I'm always doing things. When you say yes to everything, you're the one who pays the price, right? So taking a nap seemed like a really bad idea and kind of a low productivity move. Okay. So that was my bias. Now, 15 years of doing Nucalm, if I showed you my stats, I'm up over 3,600 rescue sessions since 2022. So I've got a really rich habit. It suggests I'm doing it twice a day, which I usually am. Without that nap, I'll tell you what, I always hit a wall at 7 p.m. That's just my natural biorhythm. I'd get a little sluggish in the afternoon, but not much. I don't do caffeine. I never have. I've never been a coffee drinker. 1 or 2 cups in my life. Didn't like the experience. And so now I do Nucalm every day. I do it in the afternoon, and it gives me a second day of productivity. I never hit that wall. If there's times when I just can't do Nucalm, literally for back-to-back meetings or I'm traveling, something like that, I'll notice, boom, my circadian rhythm is my circadian rhythm. It's in my DNA. And 7 o'clock, I'm like, wow, I'm really tired. And I have a lot to do. And I usually work from 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. I usually have to force myself to go to bed. It's like last night, it was a Friday night, wasn't working, wasn't doing anything. It was 2:30 in the morning. I was like, oh no, I've got a morning meeting. I need to get to sleep. And lo and behold, by the way, as I got to sleep around 3, the fire alarms went off in the house for dead batteries at 3:30. I was like, you can't be serious. Back
What
in the
are
day,
the
I get
odds, huh?
frustrated. Yeah. Well, back in the day, I get frustrated, take it back to them. With the Nucalm kind of mindset and ninja mentality around stress management, I don't trigger that easily. So
Yeah.
the whole point is this. If you want to produce that 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute nap is brilliant. It's not a selfish move. It's not an unproductive move. It literally gives you the ability to prioritize. It gives you the ability to focus. It gives you the ability to produce. It also gives you the ability to say no without stressing out. So, hey, I just can't get that done. I'm sorry. Let's revisit that next week. So it's made me a lot more productive. I'm 56 years old. I've never really respected my body. I've always just taken what I want from my body, and it's cost me in surgeries. And right now I've got a torn meniscus, I've got a sprained ankle, and I've got a bruised sternum, all from hockey, recreational hockey. I'm not getting paid to play. I'm playing in, bum leagues, but, Nucalm has been that real connective tissue for me to appreciate, respect myself, to have fascinating conversations with myself and my subconscious. I love that. My afternoons, I'm busy, busy, busy. I'm stressed. You're a small business owner. I'm a small business owner. It's a lot of work. There's off switch. You don't say, hey, I'm going to take a vacation and not think about this. No, I'm going to take a vacation and think about work the whole time and feel guilty about not working and then feel guilty about not being present with my family. That's just the way it is. Every entrepreneur knows that. So for me, that disconnect is a brilliant moment of peace, serenity, but it's also a power up my battery so I can charge through and kick butt the rest of the day and make good decisions. Like not playing hockey so I can work on a presentation, really bad idea for me. It's just, it doesn't fill me up.
Sir Alex Richardson and Mark Cuban were having a conversation in some podcast. I can't think of the show specifically. And, they were talking about the power of a nap as you bring it to, they were like, what is one of your secrets of being a successful billionaire? Because being a billionaire comes with a lot bigger problems, right? And
I'll let you know when I get there.
Yeah. But what they stated was, it was whenever they feel stuck or they can't think right or they can't make the right decision, they go and they take a nap. And just in the best way that he described it, he's like, it's as if starting your day all over again in a moment. It's like I just woke up all over again, and my body is rested as if I had 8 hours of sleep. So I'm like, that moment in the morning where like I'm the most productive, I can create it multiple times, which I feel for me personally, selfishly, what Nucalm has done for me. I'm like you, when I can't sleep, meaning my mind is still thinking, I got a production and I got this schedule and I got this person and I got that person. It doesn't sleep. And Nucalm allowed me to really just sleep. I don't recall the last time before Nucalm where I put my head on a pillow and I woke up in the morning. I'm like, that was the longest sleep I've had. I mean, I get shocked sometimes because, in the morning with the deep sleep, it tells you in the bottom, like how long you've slept for and what was the purpose. I'm like, does that say 7 hours? I have never slept 7 hours since 2007. Let that sink in for a second, ever.
Yeah.
So, I totally get where it is. Now, I got to switch gear, and I think you and I both agree. There are a lot of gimmicks, if you will, or so-called copycats who claim they do the same exact thing, or they at least try to tap into those keywords of what Nucalm has been able to patent. So let's talk about Nucalm being a patented and clinically validated product application software system. What does that mean in terms of credibility, and especially in a wellness market that is driven by algorithms and social media clicks versus the actual science itself?
Great question. And, business, you can't blame businesses for trying to be a for-profit enterprise,
Sure.
right? And marketing is all about seducing someone, connecting with someone emotionally, and moving products.
Yeah.
So that's what the marketplace is built on. That's what our economy is built on. This is my 14th startup since 1993. And the 13 previous startups I worked in, brilliant people, great management, backed by, good VCs, the right central purpose. We never, sans two different companies, we never had products that worked. We always had concepts we were working on with, 100-person engineering teams and QA teams and product managers. The interesting about this business, when Jim invited me to really discover and evaluate this opportunity, one of the first things I looked at was intellectual property. I came from my background before that was working with math models and math geniuses, doing algorithms, compression algorithms for moving bits and data points over mobile networks. So it's a very competitive space, and you're always looking for a slice, just a sliver of intellectual property to protect. It's good value for the company. It's good value for the investors. It's also really good to protect, if you're willing to do the lawsuits and stuff like that, your business against other businesses. But for me, the first thing I looked at was, what's the intellectual property opportunity here? Is there one? Because if it's not novel, then there's no way to protect it, right? So that's what I did first. I looked at a patent they had authored years earlier and abandoned, and it wasn't a well formatted or well created. I don't think the lawyers understood the technology. So we added continuance in part and added a whole bunch of claims to it. And it took over 3 years. Here's the thing about a patent, if you don't know about patent protection, is you've got to prove to the patent examiner at the USPTO novelty and efficacy. I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm a business person. So I had to find, or a company had to find, the experts in their field around the world, first of all, to be willing to test it and understand it, and take this. So we did a cold call email to 26 of the top doctors in this space. And one of the people who answered that email was Dr. Chung Kang Pang at Harvard University, mostly because the presentation was, hey, we've got an Eastern approach to a Western problem. That was how I framed it, because you want to get the right people. I don't want someone who's a diehard pharmaceutical pusher and a dyed-in-the-wool Western medicine person. That's not going to work.
In America, they don't exist, David. No way. There's no such thing in America, right?
No, funny, huh?
Imagine a world where wellness is effortless. It's here and it's now. Introducing Nucalm, the FDA-approved breakthrough changing lives. For every age, every lifestyle, Nucalm fits you perfectly. Athletes recover faster, professionals recharge, parents finally rest. Backed by science, Nucalm calms your nervous system, naturally. Experience deep sleep, stress relief, and total peace night after night. Calm is your superpower. Visit Nucalm.com and transform your life today.
So Chung Kang Pang responded, and fortunately, he was 8 miles away from me. I lived in Newton, Mass. So we started the conversation. I remember I went and met with his team. He had 13 people on his team. Most of them were females. They were all engineers and one psychologist. And I presented, and I got a lot of nods, a lot of recognition, not a lot of questions. And when I left, I was like, well, I'm not even sure they understood what I was talking about. I'm not even sure they spoke English very well. And I think that could have been a waste of time. A month later, Dr. Peng called me up and said, hey, can I meet with the chief scientist? I said, sure, I'd get him on the phone. He's like, no, I need to meet with Dr. Holloway in person. I was like, why? He's like, I can't figure out, neither can my team, how you guys are doing this. They had done this on several hundred subjects. He had a stack of papers this thick. He was working with females who were self-reported having sleeping issues. They're mostly premenopausal and menopausal women, and they have sleep issues. And he said, without any hesitation, within 3 minutes of application of Nucalm, they're achieving parasympathetic nervous system dominance. And it was a mind bender for him. So Blake flew up. We drove to Harvard. CK walked in with his team. He slammed this thing of papers down us, and he looks at Dr. Holloway and says, what happens at the 14-minute mark, which was our sweet spot? And Dr. Holloway looked at me and was like, how did you figure that out? It was all using ECG, clinical grade technology to measure heart rate, but also use the Hilbert-Wong transform algorithm and math models to evaluate parasympathetic tone versus sympathetic tone. They're just math nerds. And every single subject they worked on so far was achieving that parasympathetic dominant tone at the 14-minute mark. And it was a mind bender. He's like, doesn't matter what meds they're on, doesn't matter about their illnesses, doesn't matter how old they are. I've never seen anything so predictable. That was the biggest piece for him. And that meeting, when I left that meeting, I knew we had something magical here. I had no idea how he created it. I knew why he created it. I had no idea really how it worked, and neither did CK Peng, but we started to learn that. And that was the beginning of me putting a lot of pressure on us. It took us 3 years and more than an affidavit for CK Peng. We had other people to do this to get that patent, for the examiner to say, you guys have it. There's nothing like it. They came back to me. The examiner was really rigid. And we had, I don't know how many times it came back. I've done a lot of different patents, and usually you don't hear anything. They're like, yeah, hey, we see that there's this space is available. We're going to give you this land grab. Boom, you've got your patent. It'll be issued, in 3 months. This was, okay, well, we understand this, but we don't understand that. Can you go back and can you show us, can you do each component independently and show us how 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 4 in this regard? So that was a big effort. For us, it validated what we had. For me personally, like I said, I was fatigued working on products that didn't work, working on fantasies, selling baloney to people. So I get it. When people are selling baloney, I was that guy many times, and
especially if you believe in what you have, even if it might not necessarily be as great as you think it was at the time, but you believed in it so much, you understood that you were on a mission and a passion but I do want to come back to the point that being patented creates a little bit of a separation, right? Like, hey, it's great and it's awesome that you have the greatest intention with somewhat of great products, but you can't play on this league because of the patent. Can we? I mean, is that a fair?
100%. So what consumers don't understand, business people understand, lawyers understand, investors understand. They buy companies for their IP.
Yeah.
Is we're alone on an island. We proved to the patent examining office over those 3 years and thousands of data points that we have a system and a method for balancing and maintaining the health of the human autonomic nervous system. If I'm lecturing to a group of doctors, could be 100, could be 10, could be 1,000. That's a mic drop. I say, hey, we figured it out. Pharmaceuticals don't want to figure it out. They want to medicate you and keep the problem going. They want pervasive problems so they can make a profit. And it's expensive to move a drug. I understand all of that, and I understand the economics. We literally have the only tool that's patented in the world that can do that. So if you claim you can do that, and like you said, there's a lot of gimmicks, lots of stuff, lots of noise, lots of copycats, lots of people saying that, they're lying to you or they're infringing on our patent. Now, what are we going to do about it? Well, we could go after them legally, absolutely. That's not what we've been doing. We've been very gentle about it. We've looked at that and said, okay, use that first. And when it doesn't perform the way they tell you it performs, come to us.
Yeah.
We're going to deliver. We're always going to deliver. And like I said, when C.K. Pang said, every single subject, regardless of background and circumstances, achieve that parasympathetic nervous system dominance at that point. What the heck? What's going on here? So yes, we're very bullish on that. I mention the patent all the time because I was personally involved in that process. It was worth it to me. I paid money out of my own pocket to make that happen. And I believe in the IP. Now that we have the patent and explain it to consumers, they don't care. What do consumers care about? What can it do? Can it solve my problems? How much does it cost? And how do I use it?
Yep.
They're never going to say, hey, I'm not interested. It's not patented. They're never going to read the patent. But between you and me and the people who are scientifically generating this, go ahead and read the patent. It is a mind bender. It's a really exceptional tool. What we need to do, leveraging that capability, is we need to build a user experience that's as brilliant as our intellectual property.
100%. Let's
That's
talk
our challenge.
about Nucalm has been able to embrace different client avatar, if we want to use that term, right? You got professional athletes and professional teams even. You have first responders. You have high performers who live a very high stress environment. How were you able to kind of bring those worlds together or bring them to embrace what Nucalm can do for them, beside the thousands and thousands of proven studies and results?
You know, it's interesting. When you sit down and meet with somebody, a professional athlete, a high-priced attorney, a top operator, EMT, a single mother, their story always, and they don't know it, but the centers around stress. It's like they talk with me through your day. A professional athlete, everyone's like, hey, I wish I was a professional athlete. Hey, I want to be a professional athlete. No, you don't. Their lives are really complicated. Their lives are rich and rife with stress. So imagine you've got contracts. Imagine this with a professional athlete. We're doing our job today. We're talking, we're creating content. We're trying to move the needle on exposure and acquisition and people trying our product. No one's evaluating us. You don't have armchair quarterbacks saying that guy's over the hill, that guy's overpaid, that guy's this is that. Every single game, some turd who never played hockey or never played football, never played tennis is telling you stink. That's horrible. That's great. It's like, what the heck is going on here? On top of that, every year they're trying to find people to replace you at a better price. That's really uncool. I've given you my body, my mind, my soul, everything about me so that I can perform for your team. And you're trying to replace me with every chance you have. On top of that, you've got media concerns. You've got injury problems. You wouldn't believe the injuries. We did a lot in the NHL.
Okay, people, that's about all I can bear because I've heard that many, many, many times. So if you want the Nucalm app, go to the link that I put below and get it. Really easy. $43 American, US, and it takes you to a page, and you're there, and you download it to your mobile. Make sure you use the same email address with Exo Social and the Nucalm thing. And I'm going to finish off with my own video. Just let me find it. So I'm starting a bit of a movement to get rid of grief, poverty, and problems like that, because the world, so much greed. We're getting so many problems, so much stuff. People having to live in their cars because they can't afford anywhere else. That's just crazy. And every day there's a new tax, there's a new charge, there's a new issue. But Nucalm has a business attached to it that will take care of all of that. that just takes care of the lot. It just destroys it. So, just give me a minute to find it. Go back. Okay, this is one I did about greed, because I was watching one of the channels. Stop. What have you done? It's supposed to go big in the YouTube, not just show the biggest version of the same page. Okay, the chat's not working, so there's no point in doing that. Right, so this is what I want to solve with the Nucalm business app. Nucalm app business. It's free business, you don't have to pay for it. You pay for the app and then everything, and then the business is free. Okay? You don't have to worry about it. You pay for what you want after you get the app, if you want to pay for it. Full time, we're doing honest things, we're honest everything, and anything that is called living income. You can't even afford to rent a place. In some choose not to do that, and others are forced into that. You're one thing away from being homeless. I know that. Recently, my landlord came over and said, "Oh, you got to get rid of everything." Then she's selling the place. So once it sells, I've got 6 months to find somewhere else, or I'm homeless, right? So my thought is this: what if they joined what I'm in? They got the app, they made the income, and they could afford anything they want for life.
In cars, tents, and mobile homes. Today, in the so-called wealthy Western world, people aren't buying homes. They're not even renting. They're sleeping in their cars. They're living in their vans and their tents pitched behind department stores. All because of the price of simply existing. And these aren't the jobless or the lazy. Many of them work full time.
In a camper van in central London while working full time.
Both had work today, so we got up and started our morning routine.
They're doing everything right by society standards, but still can't afford a roof. Because when rent takes up 60 to 80% of your paycheck, and when groceries and fuel prices rise beyond control, you're forced to move to the only affordable options you have, like a car, a van, or a tent. In Los Angeles, whole streets are lined with RVs. In Australia, families live in vans by the beach because rent is impossible there. In the UK, van dwellers are the new normal, hiding from council fines and moving around. It's just something they have to do. And in cities everywhere, there's a sort of silent migration. People are trading bedrooms for back seats. The problem here is they told us that if we worked hard enough, we'd own a home. That was the dream, wasn't it? The foundation of a good life. But somewhere along the line, the dream was sold to the highest bidder. The system that promised stability failed us all. Investors buy 10 homes while entire generations can't afford one. Leaders talk about housing affordability like it's some mystery, but it's not. We built economies on debt, greed, and profit, and now people are paying for it with their dignity. Home ownership used to be the dream. Now, just having a home, any home, is becoming a privilege. What we thought was the land of opportunity in the West is a castle made of sand, and the tide is coming in.
Yeah, you know, the crazy thing is, a couple of years ago, I had to sell my car just to have money, to get to the month, to get where my bills came out, and I got sacked from my job.
Yeah, I just want to quickly run through and help you to understand that the ordering is very, very simple. You just click on the link, friend would have shared with you, right? And then, it'll come up to this page here. Very simple and easy. Right, now you can either scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see who it is who sent it to you. But otherwise, you just click on that link and it'll bring you up to this page here, where you can go ahead and then choose what you want to choose. They've got different packages. And the first thing you got to work out is whether you want monthly or annual. And these are all US dollars. So it's $42, 50, $43. And if you get that one, you're going to be capable and able to earn the income. Whereas if you get the $25 ones, you're not able to earn the income, right? You're just a customer. And so your options are either monthly or annual. So you just click on which one you want, choose a plan, and then it's pretty simple. Just go ahead, select the country, continue, put your details in, right? Put in a password and some other details here, 12 characters. That's a bit of a trick. Then confirm these agreements, submit, put your credit card details in, and it's all done. And you get this message pop up and it says you'll soon receive an email to create your Nucalm account password. And so sure enough, there's a little bit of a delay before that comes through. So don't panic. And then you get this email from Nucalm. It says, welcome to Nucalm, blah, 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 and set up your password. You click on that and very simple. Back office. And when you first log in, everybody starts off as a customer. Everybody starts off as a customer. So your back office is going to look like that. But to get paid, you just got to click there where I've got it highlighted in red. And when you click on that, it'll open up this page. And all you've got to do is tick the two boxes that you've read the terms and conditions, and you've read and agree to the policies and procedures, and then register as an associate. And when you do that, it comes straight through to here. This page comes up and says, congratulations. Click here to go to your back office. So when you go to your back office, this is what's going to come up. And then what you need to do is to get your link to share with other people. Well, you click on this bit here that's highlighted in the red. And what happens when you click there? It's going to go to here. And they've got different ways that you can send it if you're in, Social X, which we will be, but we're going to use this one here. So you're just going to copy that link, have your username in there. You'll see that as soon as you log in. And that's what you're going to put in your link that you're going to send to them. The Nucalm and Social X income opportunity is unbelievable. I promise you, this is so different to anything I've ever seen in the last 40 years. I had no idea. I'm going to point a few things out here. We're going to take this slowly so you get an idea of it, because truly it was completely different to anything I'd done in the past. And I've been saying to a few people, I've got to unlearn some of the stuff I've been doing for the last 40 years. Stuart Finger is the CEO and the founder of Social X. He's a great guy. I ended up having a conversation with him on the phone on, well, it was Monday morning my time, it was Sunday night his time, right? I reached out to one of my upline, Michael Swilling, and the next thing I know, he's got the owner on the on the call with us. But he's a very intelligent networker with a huge heart to help everybody that gets involved. He wanted to be able to help everybody. Now, I've already always known or believed that you couldn't help everybody because they've got to be able to help themselves. And if they're not prepared to help themselves, nothing you can do. Well, they've still got to do a little bit to help themselves, but not that much, to be honest with you. And what we're going to do now is just have a quick listen to Stuart here. And this is from the call that I did, part of the call that I did Monday morning my time. It was actually Sunday night, dinner time, their time. And they took time out for me.
I hope and pray that I'm not the kind of guy that sits in the office. I'm the CEO that sits in the office. I want to be out in the field. I mean, that's why I choose to get paid from the comp plan, right? For two reasons. One, if I can't make it in the comp plan, how can I expect you to? And then two, I'm on the same side of the fence as you. So if I want a pay raise, you get one, right? Because I got to raise the comp plan. I mean, it's really exciting the way all this is playing out.
I can't tell you how excited I was when he told me that this guy does not get paid from the company. I mean, I was an Amway. Right, I've been out there on Richard J's Enterprise 5, right, in the Mediterranean, did a cruise on that. But, I remember being told by some of the upline diamonds that we only ever get the crumbs that fall off their table, but they're nice crumbs. Whereas this guy, he's not doing that, right? His sole income source is from the comp plan. And you can see that as we're going to go through some of this, I think you'll see where it's different here. This is totally different to any other company I've been in. Sure, we've had other companies where people have been in networks, but then they jump the fence and they become corporate. Totally different. But just have a listen to this, right? This is how it all starts, right? Now, Social X was founded way back in 2015, so it's an established company. And the other gentleman that I was talking to who's in our upline, he was sharing with me that he'd made over $6 million in the last 10 years that he's been involved. And that's pretty handy because they only had a handful of health and nutritional products. And I mean a handful, that's all. And, that helped me to understand that this comp plan definitely works. The fact that he could make that much money, that's huge.
On the very first way we pay out, it's very simple. It's 50% of all of the commission volume the order generates. So when somebody gets it and buys, about 50% is commissionable. And then if you're the one that makes the sale, you get 50% of that. Okay, so it's really that simple. And most people are either buying Nucalm monthly for $42.49. So $21.25 of that is commissionable. Okay. And this qualifies you for all your pay for a month. And then of course you can buy it annually, brings it all the way down to like $38.25 a month. But here's the cool part. The monthly saves you 15%, the annual saves you 23%, but we let it qualify you for the whole entire year. So if you buy this for a whole year, you don't have to buy anything else unless you want to. But what it's supposed to be about is residual income, money that comes in month after month, year after year. So here's the second way we pay out on all reorders, whether it's Nucalm or other products, whatever it is, on all reorders, whether it's monthly or annually. If you have just one member that's direct to you, one customer/associate, you'll make 5%. If you have 3, you'll make 20%. It goes to 4 times. So most people are at least shooting for 3 for multiple reasons in our company. This is one of the reasons. And I believe if we can get the average person to really get 3, we can change this industry. Okay. So you'll see all the reasons why we're pushing people to at least just do a little and get 3. And how do they do it? By getting them to get Nucalm with a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. Then if you get 7, it's 30%. 14 is 40. And then of course we got lots of people shooting for 21 because that's 50% on all reorders for life. Well, we wanted to have a way for people to even qualify easier. So for everyone that buys Nucalm annually, so it does a couple of things. It saves them 23%. It qualifies them for a whole year where they don't have to buy another thing. And it moves them to this pay scale on the right instead of the one on the left that I just showed you. Now it's this simple, guys. Double the pay for one customer, 10%. Jumps all the way to 25% if you have 3. And 3 is a sweet spot. It's a magic point. We literally put a bonus on just bringing in 3 customers. Does not matter whether they spend $42.49 or the $458. When you bring in 3, it could just be 3 monthlies. You're going to get a $50 bonus. That happens when you get 3 on either side. Doesn't matter whether you're on the monthly or the annual, you get that bonus. You're manager 3. The next step is manager 7. To get 7, now it pays you just like you got 21. So the difference between buying Nucalm annually is you're on this scale. You never have to go to 21 to get the 50%. You can go to 7, plus there's a bonus. When you become a manager 7, whichever scale you're on, whichever side, you get a $200 bonus. Depending on whether they buy the monthly or the annual, the minimum you'll make if everybody does the monthly is $325. The max, if everybody buys the annual, is $950. It's usually about $500 because there's an average in there.
He's dead right. That's exactly what happened for me. I mean, for the first week, I didn't do anything, or the first 6 days, because I just wanted to test it out and see if I could work better. And I did. I ended up coming up with a little video, and I believe it's one of the best things I've ever done. But that was finished on the Friday, and then I started sharing this with people on the Saturday because I'd proven to myself that it had helped me. And anyway, in about a 24-hour period, I ended up putting in 10 people, and that was pretty exciting. And so I'd already started seeing bonuses coming through like he's talking here, and didn't understand the comp plan. Then I realised, well, gee, Trev, you better get out there and upgrade. And so I've done that, but I hadn't even looked at the comp plan. when I signed up. I just wanted to see if the product worked because I had a problem. But here I'm just trying to share with you what happens. So this is assuming that everybody, both you and the new people that are getting in, what we call personal directs, the people that you introduce, are all buying the $43 monthly, right? So if you buy that one, you end up getting about 25% of the cost of it back. So it's a little bit more than the $10, but if it just makes it easier, $10, right? So you introduce 3, and then what happens? That's $30 there for the $10 that you're getting back for each of them. And then what'll happen, you get a Manager 3 rank advancement bonus. So that's another $50. So I'm looking at this and thinking, man, I put $43 out and I got $80 back. And I'm thinking, well, one of the goals in network is to get money into your new people's hands when they first get in the business as soon as possible. And I'm thinking here, they haven't put much in the first place anyway, but they've nearly doubled it with just 3 people. And so then I'm thinking, okay, what happens next? Actually go through and do it all out one at a time to start with. But then sure, you end up, if you've got 7 in there, then what happens is you're going to have 7 lots of the 10, which is 70, but now you're qualified as a Manager 7 as well. Well, that's an extra $200. So you've got a total of $320 US for introducing 7. And I'm sitting there thinking, that is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that in any other network, ever. Not even close. I mean, if people get their money back, or maybe even double it, but not 7.5 times for introducing 7 people, give me a break. And then I started to think, okay, well, how much has actually been invested by the 7 directs? How much money has a team put in? Well, it's pretty simple to work out, really. I could do it in my head. There was 7 lots of 43, 301. And that's when I was glad that I'd spoken to the guys the day before. Because initially I'm looking at it and thinking, how can they pay out more than what they've taken in? How can they do that? But it's been designed by a networker. He understands the value, the importance of getting money into the hands of the new people straight away, right? So this is including the $200 and the $50. I only ever paid that out once. And I looked at it and said, okay, well, if you add in half of the $43 that I put in as well, that's how it gets up to the $320. It's taken half and given me half my money back as well. But that's just the cash flow within that 24-hour period, or a week, I guess, because I paid a week earlier. But that was mind-blowing. But I want you to stop and have a think about this. Imagine going out and sharing this with people. How many people do you think would be pretty excited about being able to make $320? And all as I've done is sponsor 7 people who have spent just $43 USD. About $65 straight, no shipping, no tax. It's all commissionable. Mind-blowing. Then I started comparing it with some other networks that I've been in the past. And thinking, okay, just supposing this is a minimum cost to get in. It only cost them $43 to have a business. Plus they've got a month's supply of the product. And I'm thinking, well, what would be the minimum cost for these other companies I've been in the last 15 years? And if someone started off at the minimum, how much would they have made if they'd introduced 7 other people at the minimum? Well, the answer in both systems was 0. 0. I think every network I've ever been in, if you were starting off at the minimum and you introduced 7 people at the minimum, probably going to end up much the same. That's if they wanted to build a business. Anyway, just exciting, but to think about it. But just have a think, okay, if you think this is a good idea, do you think you'll be able to find 7 others who might think it's a good idea, worthwhile, risking $43? Now, you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee anyway, but nevertheless, prepared to put their hand in their pocket at least for $43. $65 Australian. I mean, you'd spend more on a Chinese feed, a heap more if you wanted to have a drink to go with it, just for the 2 of you. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. But look what had happened. Just supposing you got 7 and you help the others, those people get 7. It'd be 49 at the next level, then 343, then 2,401, then 16,300. That's only 5 levels deep. you'd have nearly 20,000 in your team. 20,000 in your team. And now we're going to go back to Stuart again, and he's going to teach us about the power of Manager 3.
Manager 3, the power of Manager 3. This is our focus. How does it happen? You get in the company, you have one quick goal, get to Manager 3. What does that mean? You put 3 people on your team now. Besides all the money I just showed you, you're getting paid an additional 2% on all the commission volume they generate for life. And so, like, since you brought them in, you're getting that 50% plus the 2. We give them one main goal: become a Manager 3. That's their job. Go get 3, become a Manager 3. That puts 9 more people on your team. Don't worry, they're going to get paid the 50% and all that stuff, but you get a pay raise. You get 3% of all their commission volume. And what do we teach them? The system teaches them, get 3, Manager 3. Now there's 27 folks on your team, another pay raise, 4% on all the commission volume they generate for life. But what are we teaching them? Go Manager 3. You can see the trend here. It's about many hands make light work. Everybody just become a Manager 3. And if they become a Manager 3, they're automatically putting 3 people each on your team, right? As this keeps going and we keep teaching it, just for 7 levels, I'm just going to take it 7 levels deep. It actually pays 20 levels. 2,187 people, 10%. Here's the question. Where would you rather have the biggest percentage for long-term residual income? Where you have 3 people maxed, or where 2,187 can be there? Of course, the answer is where you have the most people, right? Creating the most CV. That's why we set the plan up like this. Those 2,187 people are going to have one goal: go Manager 3. But for this presentation, we're going to pretend like they don't know anybody that would want Nucalm. We're just going to talk about, if this is your team and everybody just went Manager 3, if they were buying the monthly Nucalm, you'd be making over $6,000 a month. If they buy it annually, you'd be making over $57,000 a year. And nobody had to bring in more than 3 people. Nobody has to be more than a Manager 3 for this to work. But what if they're going for that $200 and that 50% for life, right? Then they're actually bringing in 7, not 3. It actually makes this happen quicker and bigger. In our company, you can have an unlimited amount of these, all working at the same time for you simultaneously. So why is that a big deal? If one could pay you $6,000 a month, it stands to reason 2 could pay you $12,000. You know, if 2 could pay you 12, 3 could pay you 18. What could 10 pay you?
Yeah, what would 10 of those business centers be like? Huh? And seeing what's happened now, my head's back and I can think clearly again. The first time for so long, it doesn't matter, to be honest. I've just been so sidetracked by everything else that's going on. I think I can track it back to when the social media took off, right? And I mean, when we first had Facebook, you were seeing your friends and all that sort of stuff. That wasn't negative. But I reckon for the last 8 or 10 years, it's just been negative the whole time. And it's affected me. There's no doubt of that. You know, we've been through COVID as well. And, you know, with all the stuff going on in the world, it's so easy to worry about all that all the time. But what I find is when I got these, you know, music going into my ears, there's no words there. And the fact that it's all hyped up with whatever they've done to change it, it's made a huge difference to me. I can now concentrate clearly. And what I've realised that I can go and do what a friend did at another company I was with, where he sponsored 120, 130 people fairly quickly and ended up with something like 70, 80,000 people, you know, in 18 months. Well, after putting in 10 last weekend, when I put in 1 day's effort, really, I believe I can sponsor 120. It's not going to take that long. And that's why I've spent all week putting this little presentation together. You'll think it's going to help people understand what's going on, because this is totally different to anything else we've ever seen. See, in a forced matrix, spillover must occur if anybody introduces more than 3, because it's what they call a 3 by 20 matrix. So everybody's just got 3 people underneath them, and then each people they put in, they've got another 3 underneath them, they've got another 3 underneath them, and so on. It goes down 20 levels deep. And so I looked at it here and said, okay, basically, even though if I was to put 3 in and then put another 9 in on the next level and then 27 on the next level and then 81 on the next level, As it turned out, that'd be 120 total. But what amazes me is a lot of people, if you've got people upline, you're going to end up with spillover. And what is amazing, and this took me a long while to get my head around and go back and keep checking, could this be right? Could this be right? An active direct has not enrolled anybody. Now, a manager 3 is a manager with 3 active directs. What that means, for a manager 3 to qualify and be paid down 7 levels, and to make that, $6,000 a month, if everybody was on the monthly, he'd have to have 3 people, and it wouldn't matter if they had never introduced anybody, ever. All he's got to do is simply introduce 3 people. That's it, not 3 teams, 3 people. And if they remain active, you can qualify for all matrix payments down to that level 7, which was just 7 levels of the 20, even if they never sponsor anyone. So you've got to let that sink in. See, that is so different to anything we've ever heard in networking. I mean, normally we'd say you could only help those who help themselves. What Stuart shared on a webinar, podcast or whatever, was the fact that being in these matrices, he wanted to be able to help everybody. Now, they've got to do a little bit, but I mean, how minimal is that? You've got to find 3 people to part with $43 each month. You don't have to build a team. You just got to be in there. You've got to stay active, and that's it. And a manager 7 with 7 active directs, again, they don't even have to have sponsored anybody, will be paid down to level 15. Well, that's just mind-blowing where that would end up at. But anyway, and the exciting part of this is this next part, right? I mean, what we've looked at so far is good, don't get me wrong. It's awesome. But just wait till you have a look at this bit. This is the part he's got copyrighted. Nobody else has got this. It's copyrighted. Just have a listen to what he says here.
Here's why you really want to do this. You get in our company, you bring in your first 3 people, Joe, Jane, and Tim in this scenario. Now you bring in a 4th one. In any other company in the world, in a 3x4 matrix, they would go right there under Joe. Lee would be on the first level for Joe, right there. But in our company, the computer system says, hey, wait a minute. I got to take care of the person that brought them in, because the computer's going to insert you all over again. Now you can earn 20 levels from that point down. So Lee is on the first level for that new you. So when she purchases or her team purchases, you're going to get paid right there. Don't worry about Joe. Joe didn't do anything, and he's going to get paid off of Lee's whole team. But then look who's above Joe. It's you again. Everybody, that's double pay off of one sale. Lee counts to fill your U number 2 and your top one, your U number 1. One person just counted to fill 2 of your matrices. Folks, double pay, less people to fill it, and this is where it gets interesting, because now if you bring in another person, where do you think they'll go? Since we've already helped Joe, the computer system says, let's help Jane next, right? That's fair. You're going to get paid double pay on everything Anna does and her team. And then if you bring in someone else, it'll help Tim. Rick is going to pay you double pay and everyone else on his team. Well, if you bring in another person, it's going to go back to Joe, because it keeps everything equal. If you bring in another one, back to Jane, another one to Tim. And then, of course, if you bring in another one and another one and another one, it'll fill just like this. The most important thing, look at you at the top, and then look at you 9 positions on that second level. That's a total of 10 positions that you can now earn that $6,000 a month from, right? So you can times that by 10.
I mean, that is mind-blowing. And see, that's why this one is unlimited. Normally with a matrix, once you get down 20 levels deep, that's it. You cut off. You can't, even if you have other people jump in down below that, you make nothing out of that. And even if you personally enroll them, right? Whereas here, it doesn't matter. You might have been personally enrolling and your matrix is filling up and you're down on the 17th level. Well, it doesn't just go 3 levels after that, it goes another 20. So it's unlimited depth. And you can keep putting people in. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And again, just look here how you'll love the profit-sharing positions, multiply your income. All this happens automatically. So imagine this guy down here places an order on the bottom left. You've enrolled him. So your position down there is going to get 2%. Your position under you, right, is going to get another 3%. That second position, you'll get 3%. And your original position up the top is 4%. So all up, you get paid 3 times from that one order. It's mind-blowing. Now, look, don't expect to understand it all one go through. Watch the video a couple of times. You can see the full resources, and the comp plan there in detail is under the resources tab in your back office, because I had a couple of people ask for it. But if you can see it here, right, when you've sponsored 4, then you've got 2 business centers. First 3, you don't get one, but when you put the 4th one in, you get another center. When you sponsor every person after that you put in, you get another business center. So if you've sponsored 20, you'll end up with 18 business centers. Profit sharing positions, he calls them. Mind-blowing. If you put in 50, you'll have 48. Put in 100, you'll have 98. Put in 120, 118. It's pretty simple, but the idea of this multiple payments for the one order going through is absolutely incredible. We'll just have a listen to what he's got to say here, because truly this is exciting. This is very, very, very exciting.
Imagine if you put in 7 people, 2 of them catch the vision and go nuts, and you get paid $89,250 on top of everything else from the comp plan. Folks, it can happen. How? Because everyone focuses on $42.49 for the monthly or $458.99 for the annual. And I want you to know 100% of this volume counts to rank you up. So you're going to love our bonus system. It's really incredible. Last thing I'll show you, it's our worldwide loyalty bonus pool. These are for the people that just focus on building social acts. You know, they could be earning money from 10 different other companies. We don't care. You know, they could be earning money from 10 different other companies. We don't care. You know, they could be earning money from 10 different other companies. We don't care.
Man, I wanted you to hear that. You can be earning money from 10 different other companies, and Stuart Finger does not care. I promise you, this is an exciting new trend now in MLM companies. We're lucky enough to be involved with a couple of companies with the same attitude, and that is exciting. That is exciting, exciting, exciting. And the other thing he said there was the fact that if you'd sponsored, introduced 7 people and 2 of them went ballistic, you have got to have 2 teams. To hit the last few ranks, you've got to have 2 teams, right? And there's a 60% rule in there. Don't worry about it. But generally speaking, up until the level 15, you don't have to have any qualifications. You can get down to that without anything. All you're doing is just putting in people, putting in people, putting in people. There's no structure you got to have. There's nothing they've got to have or anything else. And yeah, so it's exciting.
I am thrilled that David introduced me to Stu and the team. I am thrilled because our neuroscience company has spent 32 of 36 years being scientists, figuring out the brain. We mapped the entirety of the brain. From 2009 to 2021, it is true, we were one product, Rescue. Took everybody to 4 hertz. But taking the mathematics, we were able to manipulate the outcome. 0.5 hertz is deepest sleep and deepest sleep plus. 4 hertz is rescue and power nap. 7.83 hertz, the intersection of alpha and theta, is flow state. 18.4 hertz is focus. 40 hertz is priming, and 41 hertz is ignite. We did this, but we've never had a sales team. We've never had a marketing budget. So how have we sold $37 million of a 4-component, $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device to FedEx pilots union, the DOD, the DOJ, 78 professional sports teams, thousands of doctors, because the product is a game changer. And you guys have exclusive rights and access in any network marketing aspect in the world. You are our partner, and we are entrusting you with the best product in the world. And here's how good this is. This is math and physics, you guys. This doesn't discriminate or discern its audience, from in utero to 100 years old, from Africa to China, from male to female, from disease to healthy. It doesn't matter. Math and physics. We're not seeking any information from your brain. This isn't neurobiofeedback. We're directing your brain to a frequency outcome we know is associated with that frequency. You want to sleep? 0.5 hertz. You want to restore? 4 hertz. So this is such an exciting opportunity for us. David's been a very patient man, very patient. He has found a true partner. He knows the integrity, the honor, and nobility of who we are. We do the right thing when no one's looking. You'll never see us do otherwise. But we're in a place where we can help so many people. The profound testimonials that you're going to get from friends and family, from people in your network, are going to blow your mind. And it's never going to get old. And some of them are going to seem magical. Whether it's a woman with flesh-eating bacteria leaving the hospital 2 days after they said they were going to amputate her leg in Canada. Whether it's a woman 4 months in a coma, leaves the hospital a week later, and the doctor's like, how'd you do this? We reduced the cerebral spinal fluid in her brain. We reduced the stress in her brain and the inflammation. It's not rocket science. The body knows how to heal. So we are so excited for you to be our professional, noble, and honorable people in the field, sharing with the world, hey, would you like to have access to what used to be a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device and used to be exclusively available only to Navy SEALs, Special Forces, the FBI Hostage Rescue Team, 78 professional sports teams, the FedEx Pilots Union, thousands of doctors and cancer patients, now in a mobile app. Would you like that? I suspect no one's going to say no, because we're going to help you with your sleep and we're going to help you modulate the frequency of your brain. It is amazing. It sounds too good to be true, but David knows this. It's even better than it sounds.
Yeah. But as a networker, the fact that we're in 100 countries, and that includes India, China, South Korea, and Vietnam, I mean, usually there's some of the latest markets they go into. But of course, here with an app, they've been able to go straight in. And I wouldn't mind betting that today could be the day you look back on and say, that's when everything started to change.
Hello, people. I've come across pretty weird things, pretty troubling. Okay. Alright, so that's it. Don't go to Nucalm.com, because all you will get is, you need an associate. I am an associate. You can't get the app any other way. So follow the link below, and just follow the link below, and then pay the money, get the app, download it to your phone, rescue when you're asleep, dark blue when you're dark blue deep sleep, when you got headphones on, headphones, purple deep sleep when you don't have headphones, and all of the others. There's a lot of different ones, but you have to try different tracks to see which ones work for you. Because if the track works, your whole body will be vibrating and you'll feel like it's all realigning and everything's really cool. Or you'll just pass out and you'll wake up when it's finished. If it's not really working for you, it'll just sound like music. There won't really be a lot of effect. It plays music, but it's not a music player. The music is only there as a way for your brain to accept it, because your brain puts up a big wall, and the music gets through that wall, and then all the other stuff does the thing. Okay. All right. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go and see if I can hook up some games. Latest, people, because it's Saturday.